Ari. So, thank you for doing this. I'm really, really excited. You haven't been on with us for too long, right?
No, I'm right around a month.
Okay. And 1 month is like, that's not normally for any agents that are with us or thinking about coming on with us. That's not normally the turnaround time. I'm pretty sure I even told you that it's not usually 1 month that you start to see things build up.
Right. And in my own mind, I was thinking about 3 months. You're usually with any investment and
Yeah.
building a real estate business, you looking at a 3-month timeline.
So this one's a little bit different for me. So I'm excited for this, but let's start from the very beginning. What made you decide to come on with EstateNurture?
So I came on with EstateNurture because I knew I needed to do something to build my business. I was running Facebook ads by myself, but that really wasn't going well. Like I was getting some leads in, but I had no idea what I was doing. I think I remember telling you that I had a bunch of stuff nested, and honestly, I wasn't even sure at that time if my ad was running. Like it was a little chaotic. So I was shopping around between different services. I mean, I think at the time that you and I spoke for my intake, I was interviewing with like 2 different companies every week. It was a lot, which means a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of text messages. Um, and this ended up being the one that I went with. Um, Another problem that I was having with running my own ads is I have a hard limit that I know that once I have 4 clients, building new business just goes out the window. Like I can't focus on it.
Well,
I'm all by
talked about
myself.
that. Your
Yeah.
drought cycle, where it was like it was feast or famine because of it, that and that happens with a lot of agents, where agents start getting really good success and they stop thinking about what's going to happen in 3 or 4 months when that success closes, and then you have to do it all over again. So you go in these stages or cycles of lots of business, no business, lots of business, no business.
Right. And it was a very clear pattern. Like I'd have 2 or 3 closings and then nothing for 2 months and then 2 or 3 closings.
Well, I'm glad we're helping with that. I guess we should go even to the beginning of everything, just so people know who you are. Do you want to give a quick breakdown on who you are, where you are, experience, brokerage, all the stuff that talks like the real estate agents, like knowing about other agents?
Sure. So this is my 3rd year in real estate. I'm in the Chicago area. I came into real estate after 15 years in the restaurant industry. I just wanted to make a change so I could spend more time with my daughter. The restaurant life is crazy. I was working 90 hours a week for like 35 grand a year. It was insane. So coming into real estate, I've went to 3 brokerages in 3 years, just trying to find the right spot. I worked with investors, which I loved, but the money just wasn't right. So going into traditional real estate, last year I was with a team, which was cool. I learned a lot. I needed to, because I had over a year under my belt and had never represented a buyer and had never listed a house, even though I had closed 8 transactions. It was weird. But the team taught me a lot that I needed to know. But again, the commissions just weren't there with the splits and everything. I had no money to put into advertising at the end of the day. So this year was the first year really doing traditional real estate, just on my own. I'm out here in the street. Everything's on me.
I think your trajectory is really good, because agents that start on teams normally have really good follow-up practices, really good, I know it sounds crazy, but they're really like appreciative of the money that you actually get from a closing, right? Because on a team, you get siphoned, you have the brokerage split, then you have the team split, and then before you know it, on a $500,000 house, you're making pennies, and you're like, how did that happen, right?
And I did have one transaction. The house was 600,000, and my cut was like less than 2,000.
That's pain. And you're like, how in the world? And so then when you go independent, like closings become way more, like you're doing the same amount of work, but they just become way more fruitful for you and way more fun. And then cool things happen. I don't think I've seen many agents leave teams and not do well after. So I like what you did. Ironically enough, we actually don't work with agents on teams, because even if we help them get closes, financially, the split just doesn't make sense. Right?
I wouldn't have been able to make it happen.
Exactly. So that's your background. And in Chicago, what's your kind of like market look like right now? Is it super tight with COVID? Is it expensive? What's
right now? We are in a heck of a seller's market. It is intense out here. At the worst of it last summer, I had buyers offering 15, 20, one case 50,000 over asking and losing the bid.
Oh, that's the shocker right there.
I know. Like, it was nuts. We had to get so aggressive. I don't think I've gotten a listing agent on the phone in over a year.
That's
because they
sadly
don't
it's the
pick
case.
up. Why would they?
Yeah, it's the case across the country. Some markets are extra tight. I know in cities like Chicago right now, top rental city really in the country, one of the top rental cities in the country, very hard on the listing side. So I want to get into the success you're having, but the first thing I want to circle back to was you said you were talking when you came on with us, you were talking to other companies, two-ish a week. What made us stand out as the company that you wanted to work with? Was it the nice hats and the nice logo and stuff, or was it?
It was, I mean, the hat. It was definitely the hat. Like,
yeah,
stellar hats. There were a few things that I really appreciate. Like, the thing that made me click on the ad was seeing that you pay per appointment, which is awesome. No other system that I know of is set up like that. And I had tried a different one last year where I had some success with the leads, but to get that full service kind of thing where they were setting the appointments for me was, well, every month I was paying the same as I would have been paying the same as just the setup fee with the state.
Wow. Yeah, that's
so that set up every single month with no guarantees. So I opted for a lower thing with them, but then it just became just chaotic because I had these leads coming in, I couldn't get to them right away. Their AI was telling it to call me.
Oh, so you're getting tons of calls. Just
call me whenever, because I don't have anything going on. That's fine. Just call me.
Oh man.
And I think the conversation with you, because you actually, which you don't usually do, but you ended up.
Yeah, that's actually like for anyone watching this. That's why I'm so excited about this case study specifically. It's because you can ask Kayla. I might hop on one or two like agents coming in to possibly intake with us. I might hop on one or two a month. Realistically, I think you were my last one that I did. And so I love seeing it, like when I meet an agent and watch them progress the entire way through. So I'm loving this. We were the first ones to connect, and we have 5 advisors or such. And so that's not common.
Just luck of the draw. It was meant to be. We were meant to be together.
Meant to be.
But you were just so down to earth and just really like listen to what I had to say and were willing to work with me. Because we did talk about the fact that this was outside the budget I had planned for myself. Like, I was not at all planning on spending what we spent. And I had to do some moves to make it happen, but I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad that I did.
I remember distinctively asking you to take a leap of faith in us.
Yes.
And so I'm glad you did. Thank you. Okay. And I guess since you joined, right, let's talk about what's happened. So number one, right, every month you have to pay for ad spend. What ad spend did we run in the month that you've been on with us?
For this first month, we did 300. I was planning on doing a little more, but since I had the intake fee that I wasn't planning on spending, I had to bring it down. But
so $300 ad spend. And what's the median? What's like the value of the houses that we're targeting?
We were targeting around 300,000.
Okay. So tell me what we've seen.
All right. So what we've seen is the first week, I had a couple of little appointments, but almost nothing happened. And then week 2, my calendar just started filling up. We did have quite a few rental people come through, which is fine. I still took those appointments. Some of them we weren't able to use. Some of them I was able to connect them with home partners.
Okay.
Which is something I found through the
6FA.
Yes.
Yeah, to anyone that's not on with us or is on with us, we have a partnership with Home Partners, which helps the lease to own kind of, they go in, especially in this market, right? The cash offers that they're able to make and such. I'm a little plug into Home Partners right now.
Right. And I usually feel pretty sketch about lease to own, but this program is completely different. If you guys haven't checked out, anyone watching this, check out those videos, go watch it. It's a really good tool. So now where we are is I have 4 people going through the process of getting approved with home partners, just because they weren't finding the rentals they wanted and they would qualify for home partners. I have one
That's
person that's
awesome.
approved, so we're out shopping. Um, I have 2 people, we ran the ads for buyers, and I have 2 listings from those buyer ads. So both need to sell and buy. I had those appointments the same weekend. So I met with
Oh, that's so cool.
seller A on Saturday, seller B on Sunday, and seller A wants to buy seller B's house. And in my state, we can do dual agency. So
Oh, that's a
just
lot of,
those 2 transactions is like over 30,000 GCI, even
oh
after my
my
brokerage takes the split.
gosh. Oh, good for you. I love hearing that. And I like to anyone, I can't tell you how often, I think you might have even said this, like everyone's asking about sellers right now. And we tell them like you're going to get sellers from the buyer side too. And no one ever believes us. They're like, well, it's a buyer side. Why would we? And so like, that's just, proving the pudding right there. I love hearing that.
Right.
That's
And I
so
think what
cool.
it is people are focused on, like, mentally, they're already done with this old house and they're like, I want to focus on where I'm going next. So that's why they
That
respond to
makes
these
a really
buyer
good point.
ads, because they're like, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking forward to. And then, yeah, I got to sell this house. Like, they're not,
That's a really good point.
it's not the focus.
That is so cool. I love hearing that. So first month, $300 ad spent in, and we're looking at least, over 30K GCI out.
Yeah, that's
That
just for
is,
those 2.
that is absurd. And I will tell anyone watching this, that's not normal. Just an FYI. Sometimes you have to, like, I always talk about cost per acquisition. We're making 6FA 2.0. For anyone watching this, it might be out already, depending on when you watch it. But there's a video in there called cost per acquisition and understanding ad spend. And sometimes you have to spend $1,000 to get a deal. You know what I mean? You are apparently, I'll be honest, it's not just us. It's 100% on you to make fruition of these appointments. Talk to me about what you're doing to get such good results out of it. Like, how are you having your conversations? What are you doing in the CRM? Why is this working so well for you?
So I did pay attention to everything from the classes, the help videos, because I'm like, I'm spending this money, I'm gonna make this work. Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make this work. Um,
I
but
love
also
that.
just pulling from some other sources and other classes that I've taken, about how to engage with the potential clients. Like, no one wants to feel like they're being sold to, and it's all about asking questions and getting to that next appointment. So when we get on the phone, I'm asking, why is this the right time for you to move? Like,
You're
what are you
creating
looking forward
urgency.
to?
Yes, it's urgency. That's, yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Okay.
But
That's actual sales tactics right there. I don't know if you
yeah.
know that. That's really high level stuff.
And it's great. And just asking people, you can generate a real connection with people, or at least make them feel a connection with you, when you just ask, okay, what else can you tell me about that? They're like, I'm looking to move in 3 months. Okay, what else can you tell me about that? I want a house with 3 bedrooms. What else can you tell me about that? And they really start opening up. And
Yeah.
once they start opening up to you, like, the loyalty is there. So now when I get on the phone with these clients, I call them for our check-ins just to see how everything's
Love
going
that.
with getting their houses ready for market or whatever. Like, they pick up the phone and they're like, hey girl, so let me tell you what
Oh, I love
happened.
it.
And
I
it makes it feel less like work for me too, because I don't dread talking to these people. It's not like, oh my God, somebody else is calling me. I'm like, oh, Keisha's on the phone. Let me see what's up with her,
I love that.
It
And
makes it feel less like work.
I think another note is, so my lineup has always, because I do the same thing, but instead of saying what else can you tell, I say, cool, tell me more. Right.
Mhm.
And same exact practice. And people, it's like when you're opening a soda can that's been shaken, like you crack it a little bit, people just take the hiss and they run with that. But then you go a little further in and just soda pours everywhere. Same kind of, not a terrible analogy, but same thing.
Right.
But I love what you're doing. I think one other thing that makes that super helpful too, or super effective, is that so many other agents are just, they're hearing the very first thing that people say, and then they're just trying to say, okay, well, are you pre-approved? Are you essentially getting them qualified before they even take the time to talk? Where it sounds
Mhm.
like you're really making sure that you actually build a connection with these people in relationship. And what's cool about that is, I'm sure Caleb Bean can attest to this, there's a definite consistent pattern between agents that care about helping people and doing the right thing for people versus agents that want to qualify before they actually talk to somebody, right? So
Exactly.
I think you're doing a really, really cool thing. What do you think agents working with us, if they're not having great success, what do you think the one thing that's led to the most success you're having is?
I mean, I think a lot of it is slowing down. Think about the long game. Because yes, I would love it if every time I picked up the phone, the person that was there already had a pre-approval letter in hand and already knew which house they wanted to buy. So all I had to do was walk in and just show them the house and then we're done. Um, but you really have to listen to what people are saying. And there have been people that I'm like, okay, well, I can't necessarily help you with your exact situation, but let me link you to someone who can, or try to find some help for you in other ways. And then they've ended up referring someone else to me,
I love that.
that
That's so
actually
cool.
could buy. So, and I think that is a lot of it. I like, remember that anyone can take your client at any time. If you got a representation agreement and your client ends up getting on the phone with another realtor, because other people's clients call me all the time. I'm not trying to steal anyone's client, but they see the ad and they're just like, "Where's the house?" And I'm like, "There is no house. What do you mean?" Um, but remember that you can be let go. If another agent is taking that time to really listen to what these people have to say, and they start feeling that connection, and this other agent start feeling more like a friend than the person who just sent them to the lender for the lender to follow up with, you
That's
can still lose them.
I think that's the deadly sin of real estate agents right now. They're so, I was actually thinking about how to verbalize this in a video that I'm making later for 6FA 2.0, but it's that agents who are trying to say something's not worth my time or sending people to a lender right away to qualify what is worth their time. I've actually never seen a successful, my definition is successful, doing multiple deals a month, making a good amount of money, helping a lot of people. I've never seen a successful agent do that. They're all doing exactly what you're doing and just making sure that they're building long lasting relationships and having really good conversations with people because of exactly what you said. Sometimes, one, they're able to win the agent, the prospects they're talking to, but they get referrals from it. They play the long game. They get people that they didn't actually sell to, referring people 3 months later to that agent, so I'm really proud of you because that's not a normal practice that, I think that you're doing really, really cool things. And there's a 90% failure rate in real estate. And I'm absolutely positive with what you're doing. You're in the 10% of success
Right. And I have
because
clients from my old brokerage that I'm not technically allowed to reach out to just because of the, you
yeah,
know,
the non-compete.
agreement, but they're still contacting me and like sending me pictures of the houses that I sold them last year and like updates that they've done, and they got a new dog. And that
I
is the
love
kind of
that.
relationship you want to build. Because if they refer to someone to me, like I can't reach out to them, personally, the person I sold to, but if they send a referral my way, like that's all me. And they
That is so
remember
cool.
me. And I have talked to people who are like, "Oh yeah, I bought my house 2 years ago, but I don't remember who my agent was."
That's yeah. And then agents talk about circle prospecting and talking to the people that you followed up, that you sold a house to so long ago. But then if you don't build a relationship with them, then they're not gonna. I think that also goes like really hand in hand when it comes to having a lifetime client versus just a one-off. Because it sounds like when you sell like homes for people, or when you help them get in their dream home or sell their home, they're gonna come back to you because they like you, they trust you, they want to have that long-term relationship. You're tied to the house with them, versus so many agents they help get with the house closing, but then they never talked to the agent again. They never built a relationship. They were really just doing paperwork, right?
Mhm.
And then they're surprised later down the road when their sphere is not big and they don't have much to prospect on. And I'm just overall I'm just like almost speechless proud of you. I think that's really, really cool. It's really cool to see. So that like the one thing that you said to agents working with us is slow down. I've actually never gotten that piece of advice before. I'm gonna make sure to relay that to people. Think long term is what I really like that you said, because it's actually what I do too. I like, you can ask anyone who works with me. I think 10 years instead of 1 year, 1 month, right?
Mhm.
And it's really hard for a lot of agents to do that just because of the I sometimes it's lack of training or whatever be it that you see with a lot of agents, but I think that's really cool and it shows a lot of maturity with you. What's the one thing you would tell an agent that's thinking about coming on with us?
Just do it. Whatever you got to do to make it happen. Like I said, the initial sign up fee was a bit more than I was planning on spending. And I did have to shuffle some things around to make it happen. And I was so so nervous the first few weeks. I'm like, oh my God, I spent all this money. I'm like, what if I don't get the return? Like, I'm not in a position where I could just be spending that kind of money and not getting anything out of it. I was stressed, y'all. But I'm glad I did it.
Cool. Cool. You took the leap of faith, and that's what you recommend others do too.
I did.
I
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Is it okay if anyone ever has, like, let's say any agents we're working with or any agents thinking about coming on, is it ever okay if they text you a quick question or whatever be it? Is it okay if they reach out? Or
For sure.
I know so, like, you're busy, so it's okay to say no.
Text me, don't call me.
Cool. Okay. You
But
heard the
yes,
lady.
I'm always
Text,
glad
no
to
call.
help new agents with anything.
Cool. All right. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I love doing these. This one was definitely special for me. It's really cool to see what you're doing. Anything before we go to the people watching?
No, I think I've talked enough.
Cool. Well, to anyone watching, this was Ari in Chicago, crushing it. I'll title this like 300, like 30K off 300K or $300, whatever it is. That
Yeah.
ROI is insane to me. But Kayla, if you want to end the recording, thank you.